Hello, in today's tutorial we're going to be doing crocheting a prayer pocket, and I've made a few here. I did these in like an off-white, and they have a contrasting stitching on them. It's a front and back, and then they're stitched together, and this one has the same color stitching on it for a different look. Okay, and I like that it's an actual pocket, and you can put stuff in them, and you can put them in Easter baskets or hand them out at church. And so what we're going to do is make a slip knot, and you're going to chain 15. Okay, and try not to chain them too tight. Then we're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook, and I'm going to go into that back bump right there, and we're going to do a single crochet in every chain across, and we're going to end up with 14 single crochets. Alrighty, I've done my 14 single crochets across, and we're going to turn our work, and we're going to make 14 single crochets across again, and you can chain one, turn, and put a single crochet into the first stitch, or you can turn and then pull up a little bit, and then insert your hook, pull up a loop, and voila, there's a single crochet, and it helps you make a really nice edge there. It's nice and straight, and I can't remember who I learned this from. Someone on YouTube, and I will link that. I'll put a link to her video in the description, and it's just a genius idea. So we need 14 single crochets, and 14. Okay, and that was row number 2, and we're going to make one more row of single crochets. Okay, so 14 single crochets across. Alrighty, that's 3 rows of single crochet, and let me show you real quick the little graph I made for this bubble stitch cross. And there's also a you can download the pattern on Ravelry.com, and I will put that link in the description also. And this graph is not in the downloadable PDF on Ravelry, but the written instructions are, and I will also leave a link in the description to where I got this graph paper. I just printed it out for free online, and they have a bunch of different nice graphs that you can use for like cross stitch, or for anything. And so now that was row number 3, and now we're going to go on to row number 4. Okay, I'm going to turn, and we're going to need 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in the next stitch we're going to put a bobble stitch, and a bobble stitch is basically 5 5 unfinished double crochets together in one stitch. Okay, so let's yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2, and you have 2 loops left on your hook. Okay, that's the original loop that was on your hook, and that's your first unfinished double crochet. Let's do it again. That's number 2 double crochet, 3, 4, and one more. That last one is pretty tight, and 5. You should have 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 6, and we're going to make 7 single crochets. So go into that next single crochet, and as you make this single crochet, we're going to push with our finger, just push that bobble towards you. Okay, and there we go. That was single crochet number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, now we're going to turn our work, and we're going to do 14 single crochets across. And when you get to single crochet number 8, it will be right on top of that bobble. But all you have to do to find where you need to put your hook is to turn it towards you like that, turn the top towards you, and you will see all those little V's. Okay, and there's even one on top of that bobble. You just insert your hook under those 2 loops as normal. Okay. One, 2, 3. Here I am to number 8 on top of that bobble. There's that V. Just going to insert my hook right there. There's number 8. Okay, and continue on. 9. 13, and 14. Okay, so that's the back of your work, and we're going to turn, and we're going to put in 6 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in number 7 we're going to put a bobble stitch. 1 unfinished double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. Okay, and now we need 7 single crochets. Remember to push that bobble towards you. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, there's the front of your work. We're going to turn and make our 14 single crochets across. And 14. Alrighty, well, let's turn. We have 2 bobbles. Okay, let's go ahead and make 6 single crochets. and in the next stitch a bobble, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. Now we need 7 single crochets. Alrighty, and now we're going to turn our work and put in 14 single crochets. Okay, there's my 14 across the back. Turn, and we're going to put in 6 single crochets. Okay, and now we need a bobble stitch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, 7 single crochets. Okay, now we have our 4 bobbles, and that makes the bottom of the cross. And now we're going to turn and put in our 14 single crochets across the back. Alrighty, I got my 14, turn back to the front of the work, and we're going to put in, we're going to put in 2 single crochets instead of 6. Okay, 1 and 2, and into the next stitch we're going to put a bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through all 6 loops on your hook, and we're going to put a single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, remember to poof that forward, and into the next stitch we're going to put a bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, and into the next stitch put a single crochet, single. Okay, and poof it forward with your finger. So now we have 2 bobbles, and in the next stitch another bobble. 1, 2, 4, 5 unfinished double crochets, 6 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, make a single crochet into the next stitch, and make a bobble stitch in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yarn over, pull through all 6 loops, make a single crochet into the next stitch. Okay. And now we need one more bobble in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through all 6 loops and into the next stitch. Okay, single crochet into the next stitch and poof it forward. And you have 2 more stitches in that row, and we're going to put single crochets in them. Alrighty, and there we have it. We're going to turn our work and we're going to make 14 single crochets all the way back. Two, 3, okay, and these even numbered ones, number 4 is on top of a bobble, and then number 5 is between bobbles and it's kind of stretched out, but you can still see it. So just keep going all the way back and make sure you end up with 14 single crochets. Alrighty, and there we go. We're ready for our next row, and we need 2 more bobbles on top of the cross. Okay, so we're going to make 6 single crochets. Next stitch, a bobble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over and pull through all 6 loops on your hook. And now we're going to make 7 single crochets. There we go. Okay, we're almost done with the cross. We're going to turn and we're going to make our 14 single crochets across the back. And I'll see you at the end of this row. Alrighty, done with my 14 across the back. And now we're on to row, this is going to be row number 16. We're going to, again, make our 6 single crochets. And in the next stitch, make a bobble. 3 unfinished double crochets, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through. We need 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alrighty, and we're going to end with 2 more rows of single crochet. So we're going to turn our work and we're going to work our 14 single crochets across the back, and then when we're done we're going to turn and make another row of single crochets across the front. Okay, so I will see you at the end of that second row. Alrighty, I've done my 2 rows of single crochet. I did my 1 row across the back, and then I did another row across the front, and this concludes the front of your prayer pocket. And what you do is you, whenever you're done with your row of single crochet over here, you just chain 1, pull up a little loop. Okay, let's cut that and tighten it down, and now we're going to weave in the ends. Weave in that end and this end. Alrighty, got my ends woven in, and now we're ready to make the back of the pocket. Okay, so what we do is really easy. Okay, make a slip knot, insert your hook, and just like before for the front of the pocket, we're going to chain 15, and we're going to try not to chain too tightly. All the way across, and you should end up with 14 single crochets. Four, alrighty, there's my first row of 14 single crochets, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn and make 14 single crochets in the second row, and we're going to repeat that, and we're going to end up with a total of 18 rows of single crochet. And what I like to do is keep up with it on paper, because it's really hard to know how many rows exactly that you have of single crochets. It is for me. So every time I finish a row, I just make a mark on the paper, and that way I know. Or if you have a stitch counter, I don't have one, so I just write it down, and I will see you at the end of row number 18 of 14 single crochets in every row. Remember, 18 rows. Alrighty, I've done my 18 rows of 14 single crochets across in each row, and now we're going to do our little chain 1, pull up the loop, and we're going to cut it. Okay, and now we're going to weave in the ends. Okay, here we have our back side of our pocket, and we're going to stitch this to the front of the pocket, and I'm going to use the contrasting yarn, and to ensure that I have plenty, I'm going to measure twice around each side and the bottom. Okay, and then snip some off. Okay, get your yarn needle. Alrighty, let's put these together, and we're going to start at the top left and go down, and then down across the bottom and end at the top, and of course the top will be open. So put them together, and you can't really mess this up. Just join up the corners right here, and let's go in through the back right in the corner and pull it through. And whenever you do that, leave yourself a little bit of a tail. We're actually going to weave this into the inside stitches of the pocket, so leave enough to put on your hook and to weave it in, and go down a little bit right on the edge there and pull it through. And we're just going to do this running stitch, this easy, very easy stitch, and we're going to go back and forth from the bottom to the top. And you can make these as long as you want, or they can be very short, very closely spaced, or you can skip a row, go to the next row like that. Either way, I just think it looks adorable, and it also looks good with the matching yarn. I think that looks really nice too. But just do that all the way around. And go right on the edge there. And snug it up. You don't want it to be too loose. You want it to be able to hold items. You can literally just put anything in these and give them as gifts. And who wouldn't love that? So let's go all the way to the bottom, to the corner, right there. And then go very close to that. Okay, keeps your corners together.
Along the bottom, I'm just skipping one stitch. You can skip as many as you want.
All the way to the corner. And then very close to that last stitch you do in the corner. Okay. And all the way up to this side. All the way across. Kitty. Excuse me, Kitty. Uh-oh. Okay, she wants to play with the yarn. She wants to help. Okay, and I'm going to do a little back stitch when I get to this last corner. Do a little back stitch. Okay, and now we're going to weave that in a little bit before we cut it off. So put it in through the center of the pocket, and you can feel it. Just weave it back and forth, and down the edge a little bit, but inside the pocket, and just catch some of those stitches. Okay, as far down as you feel necessary. Alrighty, so that end is woven in and it's secure. Stretch it back out just a little bit. Make sure it has its shape. And I'm going to cut this. I'm going to pull it up a little bit, cut it, and it's going to be buried into those stitches. And now I'm going to come to this other end, the one we started with. Okay, and let's give this another little back stitch, because see, it's kind of loose. Put it back through a little bit. Okay, and now we're going to weave this through. So just right very close to it, to where it's coming out. Catch some stitches on the inside. There we go. I think that'll be good. And now we're going to stretch it back out. Cut it. Voila. Here is our prayer pocket. And I think it's just adorable with the contrasting yarn. And I just love the cross. It's just so cute, and you know, it gives someone, you know, something they can feel, and I just love that. And you can put anything in it. Plenty of space in there. All right. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.